As Loren is speaking with his father and Roman, Count Christine of the Umberto Kingdom steps forward to introduce himself. He bows respectfully and sincerely congratulates Duke Dimitry on his son's promotion. Upon hearing the name Christine, Duke Dimitry remarks that he has heard it before. Christine happily replies that he came solely to offer his congratulations after learning about the young master's advancement, and Duke Dimitry begins to laugh warmly at this. Christine then explains that he has prepared a special gift for young Master Loren. Loren is surprised upon hearing this, but Christine reassures him that it is simply a token of celebration, so Loren does not need to feel any burden. Christine then reveals the gift, a sword crafted by a master artisan of the Umberto Kingdom. Its exterior is decorated with pure gold and accented with gemstones such as diamonds. Most importantly, Christine has engraved the Dimitry emblem along with young Master Loren Dimitry's initials. Christine asks if the sword is not beautiful, and Loren, looking overwhelmed, nervously thanks him. Seeing this reaction, Christine wonders why Loren is responding this way and briefly considers whether Loren might dislike luxurious items. At that moment, Count Samir steps forward, stating that it is truly a wonderful sword and that if Loren had carried it to today's event, he would have looked splendid. Count Samir then bows as well and sincerely congratulates Loren Dimitry on his promotion. Samir explains that he has also prepared a small gift, though it is not a flashy artisan sword, so he is unsure whether Loren will like it. He then presents the gift, which consists of magic artifacts recently crafted for Aura swordsmen. When Loren wears them on his wrists, they automatically adjust in size to fit the wearer, and Loren can freely set the weight anywhere from 10 kilograms to 100 kilograms. Loren is deeply impressed to learn that such an artifact exists and finds it incredibly impressive. Count Samir further explains that the greatest strength of these artifacts lies in their mana circulation function, which he believed would be absolutely essential for young Master Loren's growth. Loren happily thanks Count Samir for such a thoughtful and practical gift. Duke Dimitry is also impressed, noting the care Samir put into preparing something so meaningful for his son, and states that he will treat Count Samir generously in return. Seeing this, the other nobles quickly step forward and announce that they have also prepared gifts for Loren Dimitry. A noble from the Hector Kingdom states that they too have brought a gift and asks whether Loren knows the name Turkan. Loren replies that he has heard the name before and asks if he is referring to the man once called Hector's swordmaster, the strongest swordsman of Hector. The noble confirms this and presents the training journal of their strongest swordsman, a record preserved by the Hector royal family. Although the methods are old, the noble explains that since it is Sir Turkan's personal record, it will surely be helpful to Loren. Count Samir is visibly surprised by this generous gift. Then, a noble from the Redford region steps forward and remarks that everyone has prepared incredible gifts. He explains that what the Kingdom of Redford has prepared are 12 types of training artifacts and 30 magic scrolls, adding that if Loren ever runs out, Redford can always provide more. Loren, Roman, and Duke Dimitry all appear astonished by the sheer number and quality of the gifts. The Redford noble speaks privately with Duke Dimitry, cheerfully explaining that these gifts are merely a small repayment for the favor they previously received from him, and that Duke Dimitry should not feel burdened by it. Meanwhile, as Count Samir looks at the growing collection of gifts, he realizes that he was not the only one who had received advice. Including Count Samir, several nobles feel a quiet sense of disappointment and wonder what they are supposed to report back when they return to their respective kingdoms. The scene then shifts to half a month later, when Dimitry proclaims that the Dimitry dukedom has officially become the Dimitry kingdom, taking its first step toward forming an empire. The Kronos Empire remains silent, while the Alliance of Kingdoms, including Dimitry, rapidly establishes its structure. However, the lingering problem remains Valhalla. After Morales' death, the Imperial faction and the faction led by Duke Vieto began clashing fiercely. The scene then shifts to Dimitry later that night, where two soldiers are talking. One of them mentions that he heard the Emperor of Valhalla is gathering troops to suppress Duke Vieto's rebel army. Hearing this, the other soldier remarks that Valhalla and Kronos alike should all be brought down. At that moment, they notice a cloaked figure near the bushes and quickly shout, demanding to know the person's identity. However, The cloaked man suddenly collapses to the ground from exhaustion. The scene then shifts to Roman, who questions the cloaked man about how someone from the Luna Kingdom managed to cross the endless mountains. The man introduces himself as Caden, a knight of the Luna Kingdom. Caden states that before explaining his true purpose, he must first inform Roman about the current situation in the Luna Kingdom. He explains that after the war with Kronos, Isabel, the queen of the Luna Kingdom and also a saintess, remained on the Salamander continent to stop Kronos' schemes. Since then, they have lost contact with her for 3 months. After her disappearance, the divine power that protected the kingdom began to weaken little by little. Lady Isabel's divine power was the only force capable of bringing warmth to the frozen land of Arcady, and once that power vanished, they could no longer hold back the cold. As a result, the kingdom has begun to collapse. Caden then bows deeply and asks Roman to please help him find Queen Isabel. Hearing this, Roman reflects that Isabel was the one who uncovered Alexander's true identity. If she tried to stop a greater plot, then it could not be unrelated to Dimitri's future either. Roman then tells Caden that he will look into Queen Isabel's situation, and Caden expresses his sincere gratitude. Roman then asks whether Caden has any other requests. Caden explains that once the divine power disappeared, chaos spread across Arcady, and the Luna Kingdom, along with other races, began to suffer from severe hunger. Eventually, the Orc tribe, once known as the Wanderers of the Grey Wasteland, broke the peace treaty and declared war. Everyone present is shocked to hear about the Orcs. One of the barons speaks up, asking whether Arcady was not a land of harmony where different races lived together, and questions how war could break out in such a place. Caden replies that originally, the races of Arcady did not harm one another. The unrest began when a new Orc lord named Graxer rose to power. Graxer is extremely aggressive, and his goal is to force all races to bow before him. At this rate, Caden warns, Arcady will inevitably fall to the Orcs. Roman then states that helping the Luna Kingdom will not be simple, given the dangers of the endless mountains and the bitter cold beyond them. He questions why he should take on such a risky endeavor. Caden replies that he understands Dimitri's position. However, he explains that Graxer is an existence that will someday threaten Dimitri as well. Once the Luna Kingdom falls, that threat will eventually cross the endless mountains. If Roman still has doubts, Caden then brings out a necklace and explains that Lady Isabel said that if trouble ever arose or Arcady collapsed, they were to seek out Roman and swear their loyalty. Roman appears surprised upon hearing this. Caden further states that the Luna Kingdom will guard the lands beyond the endless mountains and devote itself to Dimitri forever. One of the counts comments that the Luna Kingdom's argument has merit, stating that if Graxer conquers Arcady, the next land he will turn his eyes toward will be Dimitri. However, a baron offers a different opinion, saying that no matter how dangerous the Orcs may be, it would not be easy for a large army to cross the endless mountains, and even if they succeeded, the losses would be severe. Hearing this, Roman thinks about the harsh cold and recalls a similar experience from his previous life. He remembers a land where snow fell year-round, and a powerful force that used the cold to its advantage, the Northern Sea Ice Palace.